Okay, guys, thank you for joining us for another Movie Lingo discussion. It's good to be back. I'm Eddie Lingo and Ron Mitchell. We're back. Movie Lingo, we've been on a bit of hiatus, but we're so glad to be back as proud sponsors of the Illume Short Film Festival. Today, we're going to actually interview Dani Coleman, who is one of the winners of a few awards, actually a couple of awards, and we're so proud to actually discuss with her today. Dani, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Good. We're so glad to have you, and we thank you for taking the time with us. Movie Lingo has been watching the festival. We've been keeping track, and you actually submitted a few projects, and you actually won 2 out of your 3 projects won. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And we were just excited to discuss the things with you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, awesome. Well, let's just get right to it then. Illume Film Festival, as we know, is something that it's its first year, and it's a festival that's designed to, of course, give people with lower budget projects that can take very little budget and make something very strong and creative, give them a platform to compete with like-minded people or people in the same situation. You know, a lot of festivals I've been to in the past, people who had very expensive cameras, $60,000 cameras, or C-list actors or whatever, would always get the awards because of the money that they had. But the stories and the quality of the work, people with less money that were still putting out really good stuff, you know, nobody was being appreciated for that. And so that's why I created this festival. And I think your work embodies somebody who's taking, a limited amount of resources and still able to focus on quality and story and acting. And that's one of the reasons why I know for sure that your stuff was selected. So again, I know I keep congratulating you, but I just, we're just glad to see, glad to see people that have that creative ability to take a low budget and still give out a good quality.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start off with just the background about you, if you don't mind telling us. Give us a bit of your background, where you're from originally. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, well, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. I grew up as an only child. So creativity was like embedded in me from a very young age of needing to know how to like play by myself and get creative. I then went to college in Florida. I went to Florida State University. And,
oh, wow.
Yeah. And then from there, I brought my butt to Atlanta.
Okay. How long have you been in Atlanta?
Oh, a little over 7 years.
All right. Well, you guys get, you want some points over there with Ron because we're both from South Florida and he's a Florida State fan.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's go numbers.
Yeah.
It kind of hurts my heart. But if you don't mind me asking, what did you go to Florida State for?
Business marketing. I actually didn't go for film at all.
See, that's interesting because I can tell from your posts your stories that film came into your life. It seemed like a little bit later, so I'm interested to find out how. But we're gonna pace ourselves with these questions and not jump too far ahead. But what I always find interesting when I talk to people who are doing film now is it wasn't something that they were just said they wanted to do from start. So as a child, what did you want to be? What did you want to do when as an adult? What were you aspiring to be as a child?
As a child, I said I wanted to be famous.
Just period.
Yes.
Just straight up. That's it. I just want to be famous.
The most realistic answer that I've ever heard.
From the time I was really young, I didn't quite know what I wanted to do, but I know I wanted to do something entertaining.
Okay.
And that was kind of just it. Like I stuck with that idea, like I'm going to be famous. I think it started with me saying I wanted to be like a VJ, like on a TRL type of show where I'm
Carson Daly. Okay.
Yeah, like I'm introducing other acts, and then I was like, well, I want to work on radio, and then it just kept evolving into dealing with something in entertainment.
I know how that is. I think that's the most realistic answer you've ever heard. You just want to be famous. I think that's what everybody, no matter what job they choose, if they still don't know, they just know they want it to be at the highest level. You know, all kids think that way. So that's actually a phenomenal answer. Ron, you want to take the next question?
I'm just curious, what inspired you to go in the direction of film? So you already knew you wanted to be famous.
Mm-hmm.
What was it where you said, you know what, this is the outlet that one of my passions, I want to go ahead and focus this talent on?
Well, I started out as an actress first.
Okay.
So, and I was training. I had an acting coach, going to acting classes.
Okay.
Had an agent, the whole spiel. You know, I had an agent, auditions and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
And I still do, but what transitioned me into making films was out of necessity, because I felt like it got to a point where I felt as if perhaps I wasn't booking because they weren't submitting me for the right type of roles.
Okay.
And the type of roles they were submitting me for weren't necessarily things that I wanted to be known for.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, I can try
Just
my
take
hand
it,
at, yeah,
Okay.
try my hand at writing, and then it kind of just snowballed.
Snowball from there. Well,
Yes.
I have questions off of that, if you don't mind. You know, how long were you actually just focusing on as an actress before you started dipping your hand and into other pots?
Up until last year. I just
Yeah.
started writing and directing in 2019. Finding Sunshine was
My
my
goodness.
first project.
Look
Wow.
at that. Out of the part.
Yeah.
You know, that's phenomenal. I've seen people that decided to make the transition, and no disrespect to them, you know, some people just don't have the ability to see what they're putting out. You know, I applaud everybody that's bold enough and that's creative enough to try. But you know, some people don't realize, you know, that they may need to collaborate with somebody else that's stronger, like myself. If I were to film something myself, it would not be great at all. The writing is where I come in, and then I can direct. But my last short, I had to find a qualified sound person, and I had to find somebody that I like their cinematography, their work behind the camera, because for me to try to take on all those hats, it would have been a disaster. And a lot of people don't have the ability to step back and realize that. And for you to just be diving in, I think the quality of your work was phenomenal. So kudos to you.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, I know a lot of people don't really like to say exactly, but what was the budget of your first project, Finding Sunshine?
The budget for Finding Sunshine did not exist. I was so green to the filmmaking side of it. I didn't even create a budget.
Wow.
But I remember spending about $300.
Wow. See,
Wow.
that's what this festival is about.
Bravo. $300.
$300, exactly.
Yeah,
Taking the limited resources and then putting together a quality project.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
That's
that
phenomenal.
was to feed the cast and the crew. I happened to be really resourceful and called in some favors, and I didn't want people to be hungry. So I was like, well, I'll spend money on good food. And
Okay.
that was it.
Nice. So at what age did you feel like you fell in love with movies, or do you even consider yourself like a really big movie person, or is it something that you just transitioned to because you wanted more control, you know, or do you always consider yourself a really big movie fan?
I would say that I'm a really big movie fan. I do enjoy watching movies of all genres, but I think it's more so that I'm just like a visually creative person.
Okay.
And so just the idea of putting things together, like it's very easy for me to organize things and put stories together and concepts together. And that's kind of what pushed me.
So the creativity is just overflowing, so you figured you had a plot somewhere.
Yeah, it wasn't really a love of film as much as it was like, well, I know how to make something put it together.
Well, I gotta say, well, what are your top 5 movies, if you can list them?
Yes.
Okay.
Top 5, but in no particular order.
Okay.
You guys are gonna laugh at me.
No, you're in a safe place. You're in a safe place.
Okay.
Especially when it comes to movies, you're in a safe place.
Okay, so Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the original with Gene Wilder. Not
okay, I was
scared. I know she was saying Johnny Depp. No shade, but I'm just
version.
Okay.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Okay.
Coming to America.
Yeah.
There we go.
The Wiz.
There we go. Yes. I was just listening to the soundtrack of that yesterday.
Kill Bill.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then if I had to pick a fifth, it's so hard, but I would say Salt, because I love Angelina Jolie.
That was a decent one. I did
Yeah.
like that one too.
What was a good one?
Oh yeah. So I need to watch that one again. I haven't watched it in a while.
Yeah.
I like that actually a lot better than what was that Atomic Blonde that we watched a few years back, Ron?
Yeah, Atomic Blonde. Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead, Ron, with your question.
I'm curious, what was your inspiration behind Finding Sunshine? What hit you and said, hey, look, I'm going to put this together?
Finding Sunshine was based on a true story.
Hmm.
Yeah. So the inspiration to write the film hit me like a ton of bricks. Like I can remember it like it was yesterday. The things in that movie I really went through, including the laying on the bathroom floor for hours on end and
Wow.
just being depressed. So that was a really true story, everything in there. And I'll never forget, I was just randomly scrolling through Instagram one day.
Uh-huh.
And Screening Room ATL happened to post a film challenge. And it was like, the film challenge was like, Purposely You. It had to be a 5-minute or less film. There were certain shots that you needed to take. And it's like something inside of me said, you have to tell this story. And at that moment, I just started jotting down ideas. And then like 6 hours later, I had a script. And 4 days later, we started shooting it.
Okay.
Wow.
No, it felt like a personal a glimpse behind the mask type of thing. So I was really curious about where you put that together, and you already answered like the moment where it hit you like a brick, where it's like, hey, listen, Epiphany, I have to do this. I have to set this up. I've got to tell my story. So there was something real about that.
Yeah.
When you started writing, were you still in that situation, or have you already moved past it once you started creating?
No, I had moved past it. I had easily been a year or two past all of that darkness.
That's good.
Being that flyer is what made me say, I have a story that fits perfectly with this.
Yeah.
And I was just like, somebody needs to hear it, you know? So.
For sure. Yeah. Have you got any feedback from people that may have been in similar situations? I mean, because honestly, that's the short that won the People's Choice. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it resonated with a lot of our viewers. We had over 5,000 subscribers to the Illume Short Film Festival website, and yours got the most votes. So have you gotten that kind of feedback about the story?
I have. I would say at least a few times a month, I'll get someone who happens to stumble upon it. And especially since winning, it started all over again, people in my inbox like, oh my God, I'm going through that. I went through that. This is such an honest depiction of what some people really go through.
Right.
I get stuff like that all the time. And then it makes me happy. I always tell people it's bigger than me, because I wasn't thinking about creating films at all. I was like literally like 4 or 5 auditions a week for network television shows.
Okay. All right.
Yes, I wasn't thinking about creating films at that moment when it hit me to just make that.
So that feedback from people is confirmation that you made the right move.
Yeah, you hit the right strings.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that you saying that brings up the next question that I have for you. Is make sure I'm getting it right. Because most people either like you started with acting, and then most people either just write, they just act, or they direct. For you to take on so many hats, what drove you to just be bold enough to just take on all of that at once?
Well, I'm not going to say I'm a control freak.
Well, I will, because I am. If you were, I wouldn't,
Yeah. You know what? Honestly, and I don't know if maybe I do this correctly, because I didn't formally go to school for filmmaking, but everything with me starts with a vision. So if I can visually see how I want it to go, then I can start jotting down like little details. And I guess you could say I work backwards. So me taking on writer, producer, and director was it kind of just formulated like that. Like I already knew the setting and how I wanted, this to play out. And where I wanted to shoot it. And at the time, I didn't realize I was even doing the production stuff of it. I was just like, okay.
You didn't even realize you were doing the pre-production.
No, with Finding Sunshine, I had no idea what I was doing in the sense of creating a film.
Right.
Up until that point, I had only been an actress. So I had only been in front of the camera, being told what to do. And I did work like in production before for a little while, but never that intensely close to it.
Right.
Like,
Embedded.
okay, you're casting, you're putting the schedule together, you're finding locations, never that intense into it.
What about with Outsourced? Was there more of a traditional pre-production, production, post-production setup, or was that more of like the same process?
That was, no. Now, Outsourced was my second film. And at that point is when I was like, okay, let's get organized. I can't do anything if it's not organized. So that actually had pre-production, production, and post-production. And yeah, I still took part in pretty much all of it. But
everything, every aspect of it.
Yeah.
I can see that. I'm the same way. In the shorts that I've done, I prefer to just write. I don't even really care for directing, but I knew after years of collaborating with other people, sometimes the only way you're going to get your stuff done is if you do it yourself.
Yep.
So that's when I had to put on that director's hat and make it happen, and dealing with the pre-production, scheduling, looking for locations, things of that nature, shot lists, coordinating with everything. And then post-production, all of that stuff, I was like, I just want to be able to say, go make my movie. and then I'll let you know where it needs to be tweaked. But I couldn't do that because I knew how I wanted it to come out. So I ended up being a part of every aspect, even if I wasn't the person with the creative ability. I was right over their shoulder, communicating with them. So yeah. I know exactly how it is. Ron, you want to take the next question?
Yeah, kind of going into that. Do you think where we're at right now, technology-wise, with social media, do you think that helped artists, people like you that are creative, even both of you, where it's like you now have a sandbox to play in? You can network, you can act, and you can film, and you can write, and you can do your own movies now. Do you think you would have been able to do something like this without the resources we have?
No. A lot of the cast and crew that I found to work with me on Outsourced came from people that I knew through Instagram, and just being able to utilize that platform, being able to see, well, I know this person knows someone and this person knows someone. And so I don't think so. I love Instagram. Okay. And I use it.
I'm the same way. I use it the same way.
Instagram, Twitter, just scrolling, just.
Yeah.
I have to say the same for me, because I've actually been trying to get some stuff filmed for years, and I knew certain people in South Florida, and I was always the type to figure if I help them, then when I'm ready, they will return the favor. But unfortunately, it didn't work out like that. So I spent a lot of years hoping to meet people, going to festivals, trying to network, things of the nature. And of course, you run into a lot of people where everybody is focused on their own project. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I decided to start taking to Instagram, and I just started putting in like hashtag cinematographer for hire, hashtag short film. And I started finding people, and at the time when I filmed my last short, I was living in Atlanta. So I would put hashtag cinematographer Atlanta, hashtag short film Atlanta. And then I'm finding all kinds of people that were eager and ready to work and didn't need a crazy amount of money. And it just worked out. So yeah, I think social media today is making it easier for us to come together and collaborate and create, versus 7 years ago when I was really, really pushing. It was just about, it's all about who you know. And now I don't need to know you as long as you're just open to communicate and network.
Yep.
So it worked out great like that. You got another question, Ron?
Yeah, I'm curious on the outsource. How long was the production? Like, how many days were you shooting or filming or going through that process?
Yeah, we just production wise, we shot it in 3 days.
Whoa.
Yeah, we shot that in 3 days. It took me about a month to write it. I had the cast in mind already, like who I wanted to use for what. Pre-production took about 2 weeks, 3 weeks after finished writing it. And then, yeah, we shot it for 3 days and then it was ready in about a month.
Okay.
Wow. So let me ask you that's a great question, Ron, because that triggers that one question I had about when you're writing. Do you already have the locations secured, or you're hoping to when you're writing? Are you hoping to go find something that matches the scene in your mind, or did you already know you had those locations when you were writing?
No, I was just writing and I had ideas in my mind for the type of locations, but I really, I didn't have any locations locked in at the time that I was writing it. But I knew a lot of people, and I kind of just was like, all right, well, I'll find the location. Like I had just had in mind, like, okay, I need this to be a restaurant. I
Right.
want an art gallery space, and that
Yeah,
was
because
it.
you had you had the bar and outsourced.
Yeah.
You know, and I was when the ladies were sitting there first talking about, I was like, yeah, wow, she's got some nice locations, and I was sitting there trying to figure out because a lot of times when people send stuff for our festival, most of it you can tell is either filmed at home or they're guerrilla filming in a parking garage somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
And so when I started seeing the locations you were getting, even some of the shots that you put in and Find the Sunshine, I was like, man, she is really got this location thing down. So, but
Yeah, the jogging scene picked
Yeah.
up for me because that took that graffiti wall that you're running next to. The scene where you're talking with your girlfriends, I was like, these were refreshing, eye-catching scenes. Like you mentioned the bar scene. That one I thought was nice because you even had the bartender who came in. She conversated a little bit, and you guys are unwinding from the 9 to 5. So I was like, oh, the scene you really don't see a lot of scenes where the setting complements the story. It's kind of like that the person is hoping that the writing carries over the setting that you have. So that was nice.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I think your work was just a perfect fit for this festival. Speaking of which, when you submitted your short films, when you first were clicking that button to submit, did you have any idea, or were you confident enough that this was going to bring back awards, or were you just like, here
Let me
goes
get it.
nothing? Yeah.
It was definitely a here goes nothing. Um, you know, my whole idea of submitting to film festivals is just to get as many eyes as possible on my work because I am so new to it. Like I am literally a baby in filmmaking. I am only a year old when it comes to actually creating films. So for me, it's always just to get my work seen by as many people as possible. When I submitted, I really wasn't thinking like it might win, could it win? I was just, we'll see what happens. It'd be great if it gets selected to just get viewed. Didn't think anything of it.
Yeah, well, you definitely, we had a panel, and there was a lot of different discussion because we only had in our first year we only had so many people that could win, and honestly, your project Outsourced is the reason that we created the honorable mention because I had so many projects that I wanted people to know that this is what we want, this is what we mean for our low budget projects that are great quality that we want to honor. And so I just decided, I was like, you know what, I'm creating a whole new award. We're going to do honorable mentions, and we're actually not going to just mention them. We're going to actually send out awards for people to either show off or hang, because like I said, it was only a limited amount of prizes we can give out. So I'm like, well, I gotta find a way to honor all these people. So that's why Outsource ended up getting honorable mention. And I'm sorry we didn't mention that on the video. That was my fault. I was writing the script last minute, trying to get Mariana to film everything, and I was comparing all the notes, and I just messed up. But officially, let me tell everybody that not only did Finding Sunshine get People's Choice, that was voted by the majority of the people that went to site, but Outsourced also won honorable mention for
Yeah.
best short. And again, congratulations to you.
Thank
It's really
you.
good work. What was the concept, or what inspired that Outsourced? Because I really liked the way that the story came about, the idea of it, and then the whole execution, the way the story came back full circle. What was the inspiration behind that?
Well, the inspiration was me. So I mean,
you literally put your all into these projects. I like that.
I do. I try to put a small piece of myself into everything that I write, just to make it relatable, you know?
Okay.
Now, in my personal life, I outsource pretty much everything.
Okay.
Like I always joke around and say I have not been inside of a grocery store in about 4 years because I have my groceries delivered or I use an app and I pick them up. Like I do not go into the store if I don't have to. I use a laundry service, even though I have a full wash and dryer in my house. I use a laundry service to get the laundry done. I use a cleaning service. So, and the list goes on. It's not that I can't do those things. I just much rather spend that time doing something I really love versus like mundane tasks. So about 3 years ago, when I really got into the habit of like outsourcing the daily tasks, I just stuck with it. So with Outsourced, what inspired it was a combination of myself and someone else I knew who uses a lot of dating apps. And I basically was like, she's really busy and she's into the dating apps. And I'm really busy and I'm not into cooking and cleaning if I don't have to. So I outsource those things. And I was like, this is the wave of the future. Like, you know, there's an app for everything. And it kind of just took off from there. Like, what if there was an app where you can hire someone to go date for you so you ain't wasting your time? And then, you know, if it works out, you go on the second date.
Right. When I was most, as soon as when I was watching it, my first thought was, well, like, what if the person you outsourced, what if there's a connection there between those two?
Right.
You know, and then you touched on that a little bit, and I really like. I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't seen it, but I just really like the way things played out. You know, the way your character's friend, you know, handled it and kind of nudged your character, you know, and then I just like the way it ended. I'm leaving it there. I don't want to spoil because I'm sure you're going to submit more festivals and there's people that haven't seen it yet.
Yes.
But I just love the way it came full circle. I thought it was great, and that's why you got the honorable mention.
Thank you.
Ron, you got another question?
I'm curious. You put everything. You put your own personal stuff in the stories. You're very hands-on from beginning to end. You're new to everything, but you're still putting out quality stuff. Have you ran into any problems yet? Like anything on the filming? Again, 3 movies that you put together. What's been the challenging part for you throughout this process?
You know, the challenging part has been doing all the pre-production myself. I always say
all the other stuff I got.
Okay. I always say on the next project, I'm going to hire a production assistant to help with some of this stuff. I never do. Because I don't know. I feel like I can get it done in a timely fashion, and so I end up never actually hiring that production assistant to help with pre-production. I do have production assistants that help on set, but as far as like location scouting and, you know, organizing and communicating with the cast and all that stuff, it's 99% of the time me. So I will, that has been some of the most difficult parts of filmmaking so far, just like finding time to do every part of it. And then also we were filming something earlier in January and we were like using a public space. And so we had to like wait for people to move out the way. So it took us a long time to film that particular scene.
That question actually, what Ron asked, I want to know, like, piggyback off of that, all the roles that you've played and as far as creating a short, What is the role you that you like the least? What's your least favorite, and what's your most favorite out of all the different hats you wore?
My least favorite is pre-production. Pre-production just because it takes, I mean,
No, I
it's
feel you.
one big jigsaw puzzle. It takes a lot out of you having to put all the pieces together. So I will honestly say that's probably what I like. I love all of it. I love every aspect of it. If I had to choose one role to give up and not do for my projects, it would be the pre-production. Absolutely.
Okay.
And my
During pre-production? Yeah. Huh? No, go ahead. What's the favorite?
My favorite would be directing. Yeah, I like to just really make sure I'm getting what I want.
Okay, I feel you.
I like directing. I like, watching the story come together the way I envisioned it.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't blame you for that one. But me, if I could find somebody that I feel like we're on the same wavelength, then I'm gonna in the future I'm gonna have somebody else direct. Well, I can't say that, but that's also the goal. I'm like more of a producer at heart, but I like you though. I want to see the vision because I know that if I give somebody the reins and then they kind of miss the point of the way that scene was supposed to play out, I know I'm gonna get involved and they're gonna be like, well, what did you hire me for? And so I may end up just doing it myself.
Yeah.
So I totally feel you on that one. Tell us about your reaction, the process when you found out that you won. Take us all the way through, step by step.
Oh, I was extremely shocked. It completely caught me off guard. Like, because all film festivals are digital this year because of COVID. Yeah. Like I knew the the winners would be announced soon, but it's like my days had all blurred together and I wasn't thinking anything of it until I seen like, oh, winners announced today. And I was like, oh, cool. I'll check in at 6:00 and see what's going on. 6 o'clock.
Sorry for that delay. It was like 6:20, but I'm sorry. Anyway.
6:00 came and went. I try not to like get myself riled up about things. So I'm a set it and forget it kind of person. Like I do it when it's done, it's out of sight, out of mind. So 6:00 came and went and I was literally, I'm here now at my homegirl Kiana's house. We were hanging out and I'm scrolling through IG. Me and IG scrolling, we got a thing. Scrolling through IG and I see an Illume Film Festival winners and I was like, oh, cool. Let's see who won. Still at that point, not thinking it was me.
I'm just happy to be nominated. Let me just,
still not thinking it was me. I was like, oh, okay, let's see who won. Because I watched a lot of the films. They were really good. So, I'm watching and then I hear her say Finding Sunshine first. And I'm like, wait, what? Me? Like, are you sure? I was just so shocked. And then also like really proud because like I said, that's my first project. And I didn't know what I was doing. And I can honestly admit that like I had no idea what I was doing because the story is a true story. It just came from my gut, but I didn't really know the ins and outs of it. I mean, from beginning to end, I was kind of just like, I want to do this. Okay, I want it to look like this. And like, I didn't even know the lingo. I was just like, whatever, like this is that's how green I was to filmmaking. So for that to be what won People's Choice, and I'm like, wow, people really love that film. And it's like, for that to be my first film, not knowing what I'm doing, but it still had that type of impact where people watched it and really enjoyed it. I was just really proud. Like, I might be all right, because since then, I've actually learned a lot about filmmaking and I've been making more projects. And now I get commissioned to direct and produce other people's projects.
Okay.
So,
congrats.
Thanks.
So that answers the question.
Yeah. So I'm just like, I was just shocked because I was like, wow, I'm way better now than that.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched that and I cringe, not because of the story, but because I'm like,
you see where you could have tightened up something. Anybody who's really creative passion will always be that way. I'm the same way. I'm getting a lot of positive feedback for my latest short, Hypocrite, but every time I watch it, I'm just like, oh, next time I gotta make sure. And I try not to tell people what I'm seeing, but I know how you feel.
Yeah.
But what would you do differently if you could go back and say, hey, look, I can go back. I got the opportunity to go shoot it again. What would you focus on to say, look, this is what I want to do differently, knowing what I know now?
Oh, I would have acted better. I just hate my acting in it, actually. I think everyone else did. Yeah, I think everyone else did great. But then, we're our biggest critics.
Yeah,
right.
no, I think you're being too hard on yourself.
So it's like, I cringe when I look at that, but not because it was necessarily bad. Like,
you just felt you could do it better.
I just felt like, well, if I had to redo that entire movie now, I probably would have been more intense when I was yelling at him, or like, little things. That's like the average person watching probably wasn't thinking about that.
As long as you don't think it, because it wasn't bad. Like bad acting and bad sound are quick killers for me as far as So like, yes, maybe some stuff could have been executed in a different fashion, but just don't sell yourself short. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all.
Yeah.
Brian, you got another question?
Yeah, with the three, you said you had other projects that are coming out that are next. For the ones that we've seen so far, I mean, is there any hopes of like a web series or something on YouTube or IG where maybe we're getting
what's next
outsourced every weekend, find out what the girls are doing,
Yes, actually. So I first released Outsourced, oh gosh, what is today? Almost a year ago today.
August.
August 24th might make the 1 year since I released it.
Okay, yeah, you're close. The 18th, yeah, you're close, yeah.
Yeah, and it's ever since it's been out, people have been asking, so what happens next? And I've been quietly working on it, but yes, there is way more to the story. It's going to be a series. So
okay, there we go.
Yeah,
because I really felt that there was a series there. I felt like going back to see kind of what you do for work, and like you said, the outsourcing that you do in real life, and I could see that, and the finding out for each woman what their personality is and how it comes to go together. Like, does it catch on to everybody else in the community? Like,
yeah, there's a lot more to that story. So there will be more Outsourced coming, so you guys can
as a web series, or are you trying to get it as a TV series for a network?
I'll go big. I want to get it picked up by a network.
Okay. All right.
Yes, I'm working on some things, and working on putting it together for pitch purposes.
Okay. That's what's up. Here's a question I do like to ask everybody, though. It's one of my favorite, though. If you had the money to collaborate or include anyone in any one of your projects, who would you like to work with? And give us 3 names. And you're not going to be judged here.
Happily. Oh, I won't be.
Oh, she ready. You saw that? She had changed the posture and everything. She was ready.
Lakeith Stanfield.
Okay. Look at you.
Yeah, I love him. If you see this, I love you. But I want to work I want to work Hey, you never know.
Hey, you don't know. Shoot your shot.
Lakeith Stanfield, Regina King.
Yes.
And has to be 3. So I would love to work with Lakeith Stanfield on screen. I would love to work with Loretta Devine on screen. And I would love for Regina King to direct something of mine.
Regina King is phenomenal talent.
She's phenomenal. I love her.
All these years of watching her and all the different types of roles she played, and every single role, she brings it. She's dedicated.
And then behind the camera, she's just as good.
Just as talented, yeah. She doesn't get enough credit. That's phenomenal. That's a nice little list there. Yeah, hopefully she does. The next question is Ron's question about the. I'm gonna let you ask this one, Ron, as far as the pitch.
Yes. Okay. So you're in an elevator. Okay. Could be any city, any place on the world.
Okay.
And you're with some of the top producers, directors, head of whatever station, channel, anything. They're the ones that put you on. They're used to it. They know you're going to shoot your shot. You got 15 seconds to kind of let them know what your pitch is. It could be what's coming up next, like you're working on some stuff next. It could be outsourced. It could be whatever it is. What would be your 15 seconds that if they happen to catch you in the elevator, or maybe they're watching this now, what's that pitch that you got for them?
Oh, the hot seat. Okay, 15 seconds.
15 seconds.
They go into the penthouse floor. They're like, that's all you got.
My pitch would be, I have this amazing show concept about a busy millennial. It's kind of like a modern day Girlfriends, but with a younger vibe. And we see her navigate her busy life through dating and work, all with the use of apps. And I would tell them how relatable it is in the sense of like, Black women are it right now. Black women are it, but I think it's relatable to all women in their 20s and 30s in the sense of we're working hard, we're making things happen, but we're still showing like the human sides of us and how we can be a balancing act. So I don't know, 15 seconds is so like short, but I would
They do it though.
I have this idea that is super relatable regarding busy millennial women and how we navigate the world and take over.
Okay, that's what it is. Ron, you got any other questions?
No, like I said, it was a pleasure for you to let us kind of into your mind and some of the things you went through. You did a really good job of putting it out there for us to see, and I can't wait for what you have next on the horizon for us.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to what's next. Have you been able to plan things with the virus as it is now, or are you just waiting, sitting back, or are you out there filming? What are you doing?
No, I'm not filming anything,
Okay.
but I have been doing a lot of planning and kind of just letting it play out the way it will. Because I know once things clear up, it's no problem to get it done.
Right, it's go time.
Just basically planning, keeping my little notebook, writing my little notes, what I want things to be, and then so when I'm ready, I'm ready.
All right,
you ready? That's what's up. Well, like Ron said, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Honored, finding Sunshine and Outsourced, in my opinion, embody exactly what Illume Short Film Festival is supposed to be: taking limited resources and putting out the best quality possible. And I think you definitely embodied that. All three of your submissions proves that if you have the creativity and the drive, you can actually put something quality together. And I thought you did great. This is why we chose to interview you first. And again, kudos to you. Congratulations on those awards.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. So is there anything you want to add or say before we close?
Nope, nothing. It's been great. Thank you to Illume Film Festival for like even watching my projects and liking them. Yes. That's great. I don't really ever think about the awards or winning. I just,
right.
I put it out there because I want people to see it, because you never know what's going to come of it. But like actually win is like, oh wait, I might know what I'm doing. I might be all right. So
I would say so.
Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Again, this is Dani Coleman. She's meeting with us here on Movie Lingo, and Movie Lingo is working its way back. We'll be interviewing more winners and some people that actually just had some pretty cool concepts that may not have won awards, but we still want to get that recognition out there. Again, I'm Eddie Lingo of Movie Lingo, my partner Ronald Mitchell, and again, this is Dani Coleman. We thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.